Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Hope you're having a wonderful day and welcome to your latest Nottingham Forest news. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the news article that was released from The Guardian, I think it was, talking about Forest recruitment and how Steve Cooper didn't want certain players to be signed, apparently. We also have, guys, the watch along tonight from 7 p.m. as Forest go to Brighton. Can we get our first away win of the season? Can we get our first win in about what feels like 100 years? All shall be revealed tonight. So, if you're not going to the match, please tune into the watch along. If you want to watch the match for free, click on the link that's pinned to the chat and in the description down below, where you can sign up to Amazon Prime for completely free for a month's trial, and you can cancel at any time. Go do that now before the match kicks off so you're all set up. With all that said, guys, let's get into this news because it's interesting. Okay, so let me talk you through what this article says, and I'll tell you whether or not I believe it at the end. What it's saying is the likes of Dave Murphy and Serenos and Steve Cooper sat down at the start of the window and decided to come up with a recruitment strategy and plan. And what their plan was to target individuals, or players should I say, who are under the age of 26, who would have a lot of a lot of potential and a lot of growth within them. And this is why they looked at players in the Bundesliga, looking at the likes of Taiwo Awoniyi, Nia Kate, who did we get else? Of course, Mangala from the Bundesliga and players like that. Now, where did this all turn? According to this article, when we signed Jesse Lingard. Apparently, once we got Jesse Lingard, that strategy got scrunched up and thrown out the window, and then it was a free-for-all in terms of players that were signed. Instead of sticking to that strategy of young potential individuals who could grow with the team, and then the kind of players that Steve Cooper likes, suddenly that Jesse Lingard signing triggered an avalanche of players coming in. Just looking through the article here, the likes of Serge Aurier, Coyote, Freuler, Bolly, all of these were not fitting the profile of the players that Murphy, Sirianos, isn't it? Sirianos, I think I'm pronouncing it right, and Cooper wanted. So potentially that's where the split was, and all this talk about Marinakis Jr. getting involved in all of it, etc. That's what happened. And is that what caused the imbalance in the whole recruitment strategy? I don't know. But that's what it says according to the paper. And it also does mention that Marinakis Jr. was ensuring that he received credit for these big name signings. So clearly he had some involvement in and along the way of it. Now, do I believe it? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird because I'll cast your minds back to one of our first signings, which is why I've got him on the screen here. Jules Biancone. He was probably, and correct me in the comments down below, but was he not our first signing of the summer? If not Awoniyi? I can't remember which way around it was. But he does fit that profile. He's under 26. He's cheap with room to develop into to become more valuable. But he's never used. So I don't get what's happening. So is this now Cooper being told who to play, the likes of Serge Aurier in front of him, Nico Williams, etc., or not? I don't know. What's interesting though, according to this article, it was Cooper that did not want to chase the likes of Jed Spence, Garner, and players like that, i.e. our loan players from last season. It wasn't the club telling him he couldn't have them. He didn't want them and he wanted to go in a different direction. I feel there's too many mixed stories and gossips within this article, but I do feel there is some truth in it somewhere deep underneath. Now, I do believe the stuff about the loanees because I would assume that Cooper sat down with Spence after the playoffs and said to him, "Where are we, son? You know, what's going on here? Are you interested?" etc., etc. And I think Jed Spence would have said, "Look, family in London, want to be in London, want to push the move. Spurs are knocking on the door very faintly, but I want to see what happens." That's why I think we went down the road of Nico Williams. And with Garner was a topsy-turvy one. I think Probably Cooper had a chat with him and he said he wants to try his luck under the new management at Man U, see if he can get a chance there, and fair play to him. If that's what he wanted, so be it. But when Garner finally moved to Everton, Forest had already completed their midfield signings, if you like. So out of all the loanee players, I think they were the two that probably Cooper would have been interested in, but the door was slammed shut in his face by the players, their representative or whatever, when he had those conversations. The rest of them, I don't think would have been worthwhile. I know a lot of you are going to say Keinan Davis. Look, I don't know what happened with Keinan Davis. I would assume, this is just my thoughts, no like intel on this. Keinan Davis would have been an injury worry to, I would assume, Cooper and to the recruitment team. We all know he had cheese strings for hamstrings. He's a great player, but also Villa were asking a lot for him at the time that Forest were making inquiries. In terms of Max Lowe, I don't think he was ever on the cards. Zinc obviously was shipped out to Olympiacos. And I think I'm missing one person. I'm sure there's another loanee that I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. But the point I want to make is this, is that isn't it amazing that these stories start to come out after Forest have been on a losing streak, after we've had the whole fiasco from last week with Steve Cooper's contract, he's going to get fired, contract signed, and so on. This is just news for newspapers to act. And Forest are under the microscope, like it or lump it. Had Forest won 4 games in a row, or 2 out of their last 3, or whatever it is, these stories don't tend to appear in papers. And are these stories being leaked from the club or not? I think there is leaks within the club. We've seen before team sheet leaks that were correct, and we've seen team sheet leaks like we saw, and I didn't want to mention it before today, because I don't want to add to it, but there was a team leak that was leaked before the Wolves match outlining the team that was going to play. Now, I did see this before the Wolves match, and that's what I meant when I said I didn't want to add to it, but I didn't want to add to, maybe more eyes would have seen it, maybe it would have got to Wolves' eyes, etc. But it turned out that that team sheet was incorrect anyway. Or was the team sheet correct and then Cooper saw it and thought, I need to play a different card here? I don't know. It's a complete mess at the moment within what's happening with the internal politics at Nottingham Forest. And it's showing on the pitch. Now, I'm not saying the two things are connected at all, because I don't think they are. But I think the on-pitch performances would lead to more harmony behind the scenes. So that's the part on the newspaper article. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd love to see if you agree with what was said, or if you think it's all a pile of BS. Let me know down in the comments below. Moving on, I want to touch on to, as I would say, is the most important thing for Nottingham Forest, is the performance on the pitch. And of course, we've got this game coming up tonight. Make sure, if you haven't already, sign up for your free Amazon Prime down below. But this is, say it week in, week out, it's almost a must-win game for Forest and Steve Cooper. Will they go with the attitude to win this match? I don't think so. I feel the only way Forest win this is if Steve Cooper stumbles upon the right team, because he's trying to rest players, because we had 3 games in the space of a week or 7 or 8 days, whatever it might be. And that might happen. But even if he stumbled on the right team, as mentioned in my video yesterday on the preview for this, he won't get the tactics right in terms of the mentality of the attack, the defense, and everything like that. He is still playing like his job is on the line, and he's shoring up and trying to win 1 point per game, it seems, at the moment, because he's playing with a defensive mindset, and it's not working. For all of you guys who agree with him, and I've had loads of comments on it, to play with a defensive mindset and spring on the counter-attack, please go and check my video out from Sunday. Was it Sunday? It was Sunday. The cold hard facts. Because we are trying to play as a counter-attacking team at the moment and have created 0 counter-attacking chances. So it's not working. And I do believe my point still stands. He does not know how to connect a defensive solidity with attacking prowess in the same pitch at the same time in the same match. It's either defend, defend, defend and hold out for a draw, and even that's not working, or try and play expansive football, be exposed at the back and concede 3 to 6 goals per match. The balance, he's not finding it at the moment. Now, will he find the balance? Maybe. But as far as I'm concerned, new contract or not, Marinakis' patience will run thin. All Steve Cooper is guaranteed is that if he does go, he's going to add maybe an extra 0 at the end of the severance payment. So that for me needs to be addressed today. Now, can he turn it around? Yes, I believe he can. But I just feel that a spark is missing in his eye this season. There's just something not quite right. Is it all this crap that's coming out about the recruitment strategy and how Jesse Lingard threw it out of the window? Or is there something else underlining it? I've had loads of messages from Swansea fans saying, we warned you about this. This is what Cooper did with us. He started really hot and then there was suddenly weird team decisions, weird tactical decisions falling out in the background. Applications for jobs, things like this. You know, I don't know how true half this stuff is, but I'm just telling you what people have been messaging me. I don't know what the sources are on it, but it's a fan opinion as always. So, can we win this match tonight? As we get closer to it, I feel like we can. I'm sure as kickoff comes, for me, it all depends what the team sheet says and how they start in the first 5 minutes. The first 5 minutes of the match will tell us all we need to know about the mentality and mindset of how Cooper's going to approach this match. You could argue this is the best time to play Brighton for us. Brighton have just taken 2 L's under new management who still hasn't got his first dub in the column yet. But we had that same problem with Wolves. Caretaker manager, never had a win for Wolves. Play Forest, tick the box, get your win. Because Brighton will argue this is the best time to play Forest. He needs to get something out of this match. If Cooper does not get a win, or at the very least a point, and a point with a good performance. A good performance, not a performance where he's playing a formation of 10-0-0. I don't want to see that. That's not my team. We're better than that. We've got a squad that's better than that. We have to be competitive. So Steve, you gotta go for it tonight, but in a balanced way. I'm not saying send 10 attackers out there tonight. I'm saying learn to find the balance between defense and attack. Learn that defensive line needs to play about 10 yards higher up than you're setting them. And the only way they can do that is with the right personnel. I can't wait to have a look at the team sheet. We'll start the watch along at 7 o'clock. Look, we may go a bit earlier if I can get on early enough, so make sure you're around for it. The link for it is in the description below. So hit that notify me button so you know as soon as we go live. And of course, we'll be dissecting the team sheet because that's the first thing we have to do suddenly as Forest fans. I'm getting so many messages from Forest fans saying, do you get more nervous about the game or the team sheet? Because they're saying to me, they're getting more nervous about the team sheet these days. So am I. Let me know, do you guys get nervous about the team sheet or is it more about the match for you? And if you are getting nervous about the team sheet, then that surely tells you that subconsciously, somewhere in the back of your mind, you are worried about what Cooper's mind is thinking about in terms of the player he's selecting. Look, we'll be positive tonight. We'll back the team. Of course, we all want to win. But I'm just not that confident about it because I still feel we're going to see low block football tonight. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below. Looking forward to it as much as you can. But at the end of the day, we're still Forest fans. We still bleed red. We'll still be screaming, shouting, jumping for joy if we get a goal tonight. And we will back the boys. And we will stay united. We'll see you tonight on the watch along. Come on, you Reds.